2025 Jack Daniel's Soul Model #7, and right off the bat, I gotta say this turned out to be a much better guitar than most people give it credit for. Okay, let us first establish what a good guitar is, or rather, should be. A good guitar makes you happy. That's first and foremost. I don't care about anything else if that first condition isn't met. So, does this make me happy? 100% of the time, yes it does, so that's a win already. Next, does a particular guitar inspire you? Does it make you feel creative? Does it make you want to play? I'll be honest, this is not exactly a guarantee when picking up just any instrument, but it does definitely happen with this one. So, does it sound good? Here's where it gets tricky, because what sounds good to me might suck to you and vice versa, so I can't be too committed on this front, but I will say that everything sounds better once I've spent some time with it, so I might as well check it as another yes. Playability, yet again, very subjective. Some people will even tell you that they like a guitar that they have to fight a bit. I often count myself into that group. I enjoy a challenge. It makes me feel engaged. What I don't enjoy, though, is being frustrated with, say, a wonky, poorly constructed bridge and stuff like that, like I don't know, the GRG 270 from a while back. Luckily, there's none of that going on here, so that's great already, but as far as feel goes, I guess you just have to try it yourself and see if it suits your style. Alright, let's get into some specs here. This is a simple, straight to the point, American style model, so there's not much depth to get into. The construction quality is top-notch where it matters, and it shows, especially when it comes to stability. Every resource is focused on a no-frills, strong and sturdy execution of a basic task instead of being all over the place with a bunch of fancy features that are poorly executed. Again, think the GRG 270. This is the opposite of that. As a result, everything stays right where it was set to, which is sadly not true on a lot of instruments, especially with season changes. You can't set it up though, which feels kind of limiting, to be honest, because you're stuck with the factory settings and hoping they didn't slack too much at Final QC. Good thing it's not a Gibson. I would have preferred to have the option of plugging it in though, but I will probably end up getting one of those piezos with a volume knob on them, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not playing this live anyway. The 3/4 or 7/50 scale is not very convenient, particularly if you ever need to get a replacement, which you will. So a full-scale 1000 gauge would have made much more sense here and helped bring through the clarity of the notes a bit more, at least for a bit longer, because yes, longer scale does mean more sustain here. The lack of a cutaway version feels like a weird choice to me. It's like they're conditioning me to only play rhythm, but it's even worse that it's yet again another model that doesn't have a left-handed variant. They really did drop the ball here. And the screw-on headstock thing is cute, but not gonna lie, I only used it once to make the friend who gave it to me happy. In reality, it's very inconvenient and doesn't go in as easily as a good old plastic headless one. It's also drilling down the joke to the ground a bit, not to mention you have to take it off anyway when you put the whole thing back into the case, which you will, because this model is not very stand-friendly, meaning you also have to keep track of the plastic piece because there's no aftermarket replacements. You know what? They went for cute, and they ended up making me mildly pissed at the idea. Like the Robo-Tuners Gibson tried so hard to push down our throats a while back. It's a gimmick. Sorry, Jack Daniels. It will catch some of the scent though, and then stink the entire case with it, so it's like the brand new Gibson smell experience, but forever. Alright, what a comeback! Not so much of a gimmick after all, huh? Although if there's a positive yet unplanned side effect, isn't it still just a gimmick that turned into a happy accident? I mean, yeah, you know what? It's still a gimmick. And where the hell are the strap buttons? That's just annoying. I know it's meant for sitting down playing for the most part, but alienating anyone who likes to jack and walk seems strange, almost hipster-like. I do love the fact that it comes with a hardshell case, although only 2 latches with no lock or combination seems like a bit of an unnecessary corner to cut. The lock part I can live without, because let's be honest, it prevents nothing. People will steal first and figure the lock part later, but only 2 latches feels like asking for an accident. The 2 rivet-like feet are good for stability, particularly when leaning against a wall or an amp in rehearsal space, so I salute the detail, but I have no idea what the other ones do. They do look cool though. And it can stash much more weed than most other models, so that's also a plus. I'm not a weed guy, but I can see that coming handy at some point. Now, fair warning, The handle placement is not ideal for balance, and the quality of the handle itself doesn't feel up to par with the rest of the case, or instrument for that matter, so I'll probably end up replacing mine if I can find a better one that's a direct fit. But regardless of the handle, fit and finish of the case itself does leave some to be desired, to be honest, even at this budget level. The material doesn't seem to be glued all that well on the back, which is ultimately the face of the case that gets abused the most, so it does make me wonder what the longevity might be like on this one. And the story on the back. There's something about it that feels rushed, unfinished, and I guess preemptive in a way. Like they're explaining why it exists as if it wasn't obvious enough before anyone starts asking, what does Jack Daniels have to do with... Either way, all I get from it is that musicians are drunks, that good old Jack knew it and took advantage of it, and then some marketing bullshit about the spirit of whatever. Look, I love my Jack as much as the next guy, but anyone who wears the Jack Daniels logo like some badge of rock and roll honor is nothing but a hack. No different to the guy who got a guitar with a Confederate flag on it because yeehaw, something Leonard Rebel Banga cousin or flatbed. All hacks, every single one of you. Oh yeah, the sound. Very clear and glassy this one, but like I hinted at first, you gotta try it yourself, because no two pieces of glass are made the same, so you might find one that's a bit mellower. In any case though, things do seem to mellow out naturally after you play it for a while. However, it could have used a cork instead of a plastic top to compensate a bit. And no, the metal headstock does not do much to help, and it doesn't increase sustain either, that's just a myth. All in all, I like it for what it is. I think that's the key here. It's a classic that'll outlive us all, like all good classics do, and most of the negative reviews that I've seen out there seem to be due to people expecting it to be something that it is not. It's like complaining about the Telecaster neck pickup because it's not as bright as a Strat. It's not supposed to be a Strat. Same with this one. It's not meant to be a Pappy Van Winkle, so it's your own fault if you're going with the wrong expectations. Like it for what it is. A timeless classic with quirks and all, and the unavoidable carryover flaws that tradition-bound instruments suffer from, like poor fret access on a Les Paul. Still, nothing sounds quite like it. If anything, I would love to see some higher-end versions in the future, like a gentleman version with a matching silver case, or a custom shop 100-proof high-gain single barrel. That'd be the shit. Gibson. No Gibson. No Gibson. No Gibson. No Gibson.